The next thing I want to show you is, once we finish all the SI joint, is how to fix L5 to C2, okay? You do it the exact same way. Usually I have my patients supine or on their back with their legs up on a wedge. I'm going to show it to you today with them lying on their stomach so you can see my finger placements better. So what I'm going to do is I always slide in my hand, and I always start at L5 and work my way up. I will slide my finger in and get to the spinous processes. I will then slide my other finger on top to get to the spinous processes just above it. I will then feel which way the top spinous processes is. So if you look at this one shifted over to the left. I will then bring the top vertebrae over, so I'm pulling it to the right so my fingers are the same, and I'm holding that for 1 minute. All right, so I'm decreasing the rotation. Once I hold for the minute, I will take my bottom finger and place it on the spinous process of the one I just moved. Then I will go to the next vertebrae and find out where that is. I'm always comparing the top to the bottom because we've just fixed the bottom, so we have to assume that that one is correct. And then what I'll do, and this one's shifted over again to the left, is I will bring it over and hold for a minute. I will do that for the entire spine. So usually as a physical therapist, I work on L5 to L1 or T11. And then once that's fixed with the lumbar stave, I will move up from T12 all the way up to T1. When you do T12 to T1, you'll have to do the ribs, which I will show you in a second. Then I will move over and do C7 to C2. All right. I'm going to show you how to do the ribs now, just to make sure, because when you get to the thoracic spine, once you fix it, you have to fix the ribs as well. Her ribs are laterally flexed, meaning that they're shifted out like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the spinous processes. I'm going to 1.5 to 2 inches out to the costotransverse joint. I am then going to push my finger anterior, which will disengage the rib from the transverse processes. Then I'm going to push it medially, and then I'm going to rotate it just like this, superior and inferior, to feel how I can shut off the iliocostalis muscle. I am then going to hold that for 1 minute. Once that vertebrae is done, I will go all the way up to rib 3. Rib 2 is laterally flexed, meaning it's bucket handled, meaning that it's pushed up just like that. So I will have to slide my fingers over, grab onto the second rib, and then I will pull it down, and then I will push it into place and hold that for 2 minutes. Finally, the first rib is elevated or subluxed on top of the transverse process of T1. I am going to take my finger, I'm going to push the rib anterior, then inferior, and she's going to take 10 deep breaths, and I'm going to hold that position. So my finger goes in just like that. Once I am done with that, I can basically do the exact same thing to the C-spine. Make sure you do both sides of the ribs. The only one that is different is C1. With C1, I'll come into the transverse process of C1, which is just behind the ears. I will take C1, I will bring it up to decompress it, and then slide it over to the right, because it's actually laterally shifted to the left. So I'll bring it up and slide it over. How does that feel right there? That should feel better. So you know you actually have the right position, because the pain in your head should decrease right away. That's it. Thank you.